Hey, good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay, but having some issues with this streaming service. And I'll try to get those resolved. For a while there, I got my days mixed up. I thought it was Friday, and I was like really happy. Then I realized it's Thursday, and I was like a little bummed out. Still, the reason I'm looking forward to Friday is I've got that good interview tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. And that's going to be real good. It's a serious discussion, and hang on, let me grab some water real quick. Good discussion. That's tomorrow. You can see it on my page, and I will put a reminder out there today again. Something a little out of my usual stuff, but that's okay. All right, let me see. Welcome everyone. If I miss anyone, I apologize. Not singling anybody out on purpose. I promise. Yeah, Fridays are good. Hey Daniel. Hey Nicole. OG. Yeah, we're gonna talk about some of that because I got quite the feedback yesterday. Yo, Chris, what up? The topic today. Hey, Alma. Alma D. Hernandez. How are you? Hey, Oriana. So, I was going to say, if you know, you know. But if you don't know, I posted this yesterday because that thing in that caricature in the middle there. I posted that yesterday. Over the last, I don't know, I mean, hardcore over the last couple of weeks, but really, I'll say for more than a year, I've been getting requests to um, look into the Jessica is spoiled and or spoiled cosmetics, and honestly, obviously cosmetics are not well. They're not up my alley. Although I am a official Avon representative. Yes, I am. If you didn't know that already. Um, but I'm not into the cosmetic. It's a long story. It was as a helping assist someone else. I was assisting someone else years ago, and the account was open. People started buying stuff, and I don't know. It became a thing. So you can go to Shop with Manny and get some Avon products there. Legit, they go direct through the Avon company, Avon Corporation. Nothing comes through me. I don't take any credit card numbers. I don't take any data like that at all. When you place your order, I just get an email that says, "Yeah, so and so ordered this," and and that's all. And any kind of customer service dealings, you're dealing direct with the Avon Corporation. And for the most part, when you place an order, I've heard people get their stuff within, from ordering to receiving the product like 4 or 5 days. So I started hearing about things, people not getting their product, and at that point when I first heard about that, I didn't know what she was selling or anything. I just knew she was um, pushing cosmetics, but I didn't know it was her own company. Then I found out it is, Spoiled is hers, and I think if I'm not mistaken, somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's a what's called Black Label, which means it's just like a generic product, and you sign up with this company, and they put your logo on their stuff. So there could be around the world, 50 different people selling that same product, but each one's got their own brand on it, and it looks like it's their own product, individual or private product. Um, but that's called black labeling, and I'm sure it's got another name to it as well. And and there's nothing wrong with that. I've done that with certain things in my lifetime as well. More on the digital stuff like web hosting, selling domain names, .com names, and that kind of thing. And so I was hearing a lot about that over the last year, and then in the last few weeks, more hardcore. I was hearing from people here and there, and they kept saying, "Go look, go watch," and I would watch on occasion. And the other one I would watch too is Gigi, and then the other one I tried to watch a little bit was JJ, and to be honest, none of them sparked my interest as far as streaming live. And okay, what's the deal? Is it worth? Is there something there? And with Gigi, I just couldn't. I don't like that person. Maybe it's personal. Okay, maybe it is personal, but I don't know why. I get a bad vibe from that. So I was like, yeah, I can't watch that. So it wasn't until recently where I started watching who we're talking about now, and I'll be honest, I just couldn't believe how she was talking to people that hadn't. So the complaint is some people are not receiving their stuff, and I kept thinking, well, is it a lot of people? Is it just one person? And then I keep hearing it's more and more and more. People are just are paying money and not receiving their items, or they cannot get a refund. Why? Well, apparently there's a no refund policy, and she will not give you your cash. When I say cash, anytime when I mean cash, I don't mean she's physically gonna give you a $20 bill or whatever. By cash, I mean people are looking for refunds on their debit cards or their credit cards, and apparently that's not going to happen. And I have a problem with that. I don't know why people order from a company that has a no refund policy. So how are you supposed to get compensated if your product never shows up? What's the recourse? What are the steps to? How are they going to remedy the situation? And to me, that tells me a lot about the company I'm dealing with. First of all, why is it no refund policy in the first place? I would like to know that. Two, if it's a no refund policy, okay, we give you store credit. And what I heard from at least one person was that, okay, they took the store credit, ordered that, and they never got that either. So it's like, that's a problem. So, having had a few businesses in my lifetime, actual physical product, not like a digital thing, which I have also, but a physical product, I'd have to go and buy inventory on a monthly basis, sometimes twice a month. But besides that, we had an operating income. We had money in the bank just for operational expenses. And part of those operational expenses was, well, what if we get somebody who wants a refund, or we take a loss, somebody's shipment got stolen, and we got to cover it. But somebody wants a refund. If we're just spending all the money that we're earning from all these sales, spending it liquid cash on a daily basis, like living off of it, that's not fair to the customer. If they have a problem with their product, you should refund them their money, but you can't because you don't have it. So, the business model needs some looking into, or needs some fixing, I should say. And some people may not like what I'm going to say right now, but I'm not looking to put anybody out of business or take them down or any of that stuff. I would like to know more about people that are not getting their items, and see if there can be some kind of remedy. Uh, maybe make the exception, give them their refund, or find out, maybe she can dig a little further, find out why certain things are not being delivered as promised. So let me get to that post, if you will, from yesterday. And it did get a lot of traffic. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm not here chasing clout. I'm not looking to become a millionaire off of someone. It's nothing like that. That's silly, because that's not going to happen. Where is it here? Okay, here it is. Let me share the page. Hey, good evening, everyone. Thanks for stopping by. There's a few things that I want to address about the post. So this was it right here. Just a fun little graphic with some of the things she's been quoted as saying, which I think is not cool. I mean, so a lot of people came into the comments and said, "Hey, I've always gotten my stuff. I've always gotten my stuff. I've ordered, $1,000 or $5,000, and I've always gotten my stuff." And that's great. But that doesn't mean that the one person or the few that don't get their things, it doesn't mean that they don't matter. They still need to get their item or get a refund, or, somehow be made whole, be made completed. And the other part of that is it's not, I want to use the word cool, but it's not polite that when somebody calls or puts a comment because they can't get any other answers, or they're not getting emails returned or calls returned, somebody's legit looking for their money or their product. Mainly their product. They're not even saying, "Give me my money back." They're saying, "Where's my product?" That I've gathered from a lot of this. But then these people who didn't receive their stuff are ridiculed, and they're called irrelevant, or they're called haters. That stupid crap, haters, which is a word I think it's thrown around too loosely, that it's starting to lose its value, or it has lost its value. So it's like, to add insult to injury, they don't have their stuff, and you're going to call them irrelevant or call them a hater when they're just wanting their stuff. I don't think that makes you look good. I don't think that makes her look good. And I know I'll say what it is. I know that there's ass kissers for whatever the reason. And and that's fine. If there people are fans of somebody, they're fans. Okay, well, that's fine. But to alienate a few for a legit reason is not cool. That's not a good way of doing business, in my humble opinion. And there are a few people who wanted to come forward, and they want to come online with me and just tell me their experience, because another important factor to me is that people have receipts. They placed the order, they got screenshots of messages sent, and or messages or email exchanges, because that all matters too. I'm not doing this just because someone said, right? Yes, witchy woman. Hey, welcome. So, okay, so let's discuss some of these comments. I know they're small. I don't know if you can see them from there. Let me see. Here's one. I've ordered from her and got mine in a timely manner. I don't get expired makeup, nor do I have buyer's remorse. Then ask for my money back. When shipping makeup, she makes sure that the palette or whatever you order is in the appropriate boxes, and I've never gotten broken products. A lot of people don't like her because the way she dresses. Okay, so that's come up a few times. The way she dresses, I could care less. That that's not my concern at all, and it shouldn't be. And I don't know. In this case, it's none of my business, and I don't. That doesn't bother me at all. I think there's an image that she needs to maintain, and that she started, and you know what? That's her business. That's the business. So I've got no issues with that at all whatsoever. A lot of people don't like her because the way she dresses, or her personality, the way she lives her life, uh, and that's true. But if you don't like, if certain things rub you the wrong way, then don't order. Don't buy from that if you don't like that. I'm not sure why people would want cash refund when they ordered online. Well, again, I was addressing that issue already. By cash, I mean they just want their money back, a refund on their debit or credit card. I can understand when processing a refund, people want their money back, but the thing is that money goes back into the business. Well, obviously it doesn't. I think it goes into her pocket, which is fine, but you need to have an operating budget. It's got to be a X percentage, and you do this by looking through the history. What's been the history of people asking for refunds, or legit needing refunds? Or how many people have been given refunds, if have, and that's how you judge what percentage of your money you put aside into that fund in case you have to refund. That money goes back into the business, living expenses, so I can understand offering store credit. I don't know. It depends on what you want, what you ordered. If there's nothing, like if you're not receiving what you really want, then what good is store credit? If you don't want anything else, you wanted that one item, then store credit doesn't mean anything. Maybe the people ordered products when they shouldn't or couldn't afford the products. Now they're broke, so they're wanting their money back. Well, that's not the feeling that I get. That's from everything from the people that I've been in touch with. They just want their product. They want a refund because they're not getting their product. Some of these are gone for weeks and months, and there's some even longer than that. If I want to recall, I think a year. And it's like, yeah, it's not unreasonable if you're not getting a product after a reasonable amount of time to ask for a refund. If you can't come through with it, issue a refund and be done with it. Even if they never got their stuff, you give a refund and they'll say, well, they didn't have it. I waited, but you know what? At least they got my money back. So she's legit. That's what happens. Yeah, they was out of stock forever. They wanted to give me a store credit, but I wanted this thing. But she gave me a refund, so that's cool. I'll try again. 2 months from now, whatever. The thing about candy, yeah, I don't know anything about that. I know there's a shop. How she makes it, I don't know. There are people that do candy at home. They bake at home as well. Um, but I don't know enough about her candy shop or how that operates. Here, let me start putting some of these up here. Living in oblivion. What about those that paid in November for a subscription item that they still? This is what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what I'm talking about. From November, where are we? August. We're month 8. Add a couple of months. 10 months. It's almost a year. We're coming up on a year and somebody doesn't have their stuff. I think a refund is extremely reasonable in this case and in cases like that. And then, so that's the main thing. That's the real main thing. Now, what happens is when people start to be shady in business, and when they go live, a lot of times not trying to deliver a product and just sell and maybe run that credit card, and then they kind of get branded as shady, possible scam. She doesn't deliver. She doesn't. Sometimes she delivers for the most part, but then you got these people that were waiting a year, almost a year, and there's no resolution there. Wonder what the rest of her situation is like. Then they start watching all the videos, and then I hear that there's a nice home, some fancy cars, and then I hear that there's pandering for Cash App, and then so that's a whole other thing. But if you're shady in business and don't take care of your customers, then that kind of makes people start look at other stuff, and then the thing just blows up. At least that's how I see it. Let's see. Here, I'll pop this one up first. I'm sorry. She's cried about needing help with medical bills, came live crying and asking for people to send even $1. Now, less than a week later, boom, bam, miraculously, her bathroom remodel starts. If the shoe fits, and like I said, a bad experience can start to make people look at other parts of your program, yourself, your business, your page, and it can have a snowball effect. I don't necessarily believe in that old motto that the customer is always right, because I promise you the customer is not always right. However, I think it's good practice to take care of the customer. If you want them to try to come back, either give them their stuff or just give them a refund. And you know what? If your sales are going good, like for a while for her, it looks like they have been. She's got talks about having nice things and all this, then hey, you know what? Good for you. That'll keep happening. It'll just keep happening. It's a bad look when you won't take care of those few who, in the overall scheme of things, is probably just a few dollars. A small percentage of what your annual take is. Hey, John. No delivery scam. A scam where a seller takes your money and never deliver the product is legally and commercially known as a non-delivery scam. See, and I hate to call it certain things scams unless it's an actual scam. I don't want to just, like when you talk about someone being guilty in court for whatever, it's on the news or you write something until they are taken to court and actually found guilty by a jury. If you don't say allegedly, they can take you to court. It was slander. He said I was guilty. It's like, well, all of these things, yes, are allegedly alleged. But those that have come forward with these stories have receipts. And, why let this go to court? I mean, I don't know. I don't understand. I'm in the print marketing business, and business. This was 4 years ago. Business card was bad. Order was bad. It was an error on my part. They received their product. There was I think it was a typo. Oh, man, guess what? I got to eat the cost, fix it, order another set of cards, have them delivered. Customer's happy, still a customer, but it's just something I had to do. You just have to do that. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it just happens. But I think the main thing, and I would say this about any business, even retail, brick and mortar, a store that you go to, if the policy is now sometimes no refunds are okay. Like if something is on clearance or whatever, or sell a closeout or clearance or something like that, where an Adidas shirt, Adidas polo was originally $49, and because it's a triple extra large size in purple, it's on the shelf for $5, and the tag will say no refunds, no exchanges. I get that. I get it. Aside from that, why would you buy from a store or a business with a no refund policy? A lot of the work I do is online marketing. And when I used to do SEO, search engine optimization, everything's done online. When you make changes to somebody's website and you're changing code, and then it takes time for the internet to pick that up, and I mean it's a whole process. What it's difficult was it was difficult to undo that once you did it. So if a customer didn't want to pay and you did this already, and now it's difficult to undo, and they didn't want to pay you, well, then you were stuck. So my policy was, yeah, it's going to cost $2,500. I'll make the initial changes in the first 48 hours. And then the rest of it just takes time. And I used to get paid up front. I would get paid up front because if I did that and they didn't want to pay me, it's like I can't Give me a refund. Well, no, because I spent 16 hours on this last week. I'm not going to give you a refund. So with certain kinds of business, it's okay to do a no refund policy. But generally speaking, I think, in my opinion, that's not good business. So why would you do business with a no refund policy business? Yeah, there's a lot of comments. A lot of comments here. Hey, Alexandra, how are you? Alexandra said, I could care less how she dressed. That is her reputation. I'm against being scammed out of money for products that were never received. Her blue app business shouldn't be associated with her makeup business. Instead, her she people call anyone that complains about their products jealous. Yeah, I know. I saw that. I got called jealous in that post yesterday. I'm like, what? Jealous? What am I jealous of? Her content sob story about being broke. So yeah, you know, there was a time when something like Cash App or GoFundMe was a valuable resource and something good to have online. Um, that people could crowdfund and help somebody out. Somebody who needed help, they would put a GoFundMe. But it just became too much. There are too many people out there scamming and giving false stories. There was down here. There was one somebody's house. Especially when people say, "Can you post this for me? Do me a favor. Can you post this and try to get some?" And like, look, there was a fire. Somebody had their house burned down. They lost everything. And then when I go and look, and there was no fire, nothing burned. It was not in this neighborhood, not my city anyway. That's why I don't really promote that kind of thing unless I know firsthand. Yes, I've seen it myself, and it has happened a few times. But and Cash App used to be. I mean, it still is, but the way some people abuse Cash App, it makes people not want to give. It makes people not want to help, even people who can help. If you want to help and share your money or help somebody out, you know what? That's your business. That's none of my business. It's nobody's business what somebody does with their money. But I think Cash App became kind of for somebody who really needs help, legit, it's harder to give because now you're not sure. I've seen the whole thing. Somebody's going live. There's 200 or 300 people in the room. Hey, there's 250 people here. If everyone can just give $2, I would appreciate it. If everyone in the room, please. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm like, that's great. $1, who cares? People send $1 in, but it's the principle of it, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan of that, especially if you've got you know luxurious house, luxurious cars. I can understand if there is critical illness in the family, medical bills can get up there if you don't have insurance. But I mean, how much? What is the claim that that's a boyfriend or something, right? Boyfriend, not husband, correct? And there was cancer or something. He's diagnosed with cancer. Is that correct? I haven't even gotten that deep into this yet. All I heard was that he was sick, and there's video of her online, alligator tears, looking for help. Yeah, this is exactly right. The seller does not ship. I report and I never shop again. And sometimes, a lot of times I'll go to the bank, my bank card, and say, "Hey, I bought this, paid for it, it never got here." The first thing they say is, "Well, go to the seller first, the retailer, and see if you can get a refund." I'm like, "Okay, I did, but they say no refunds for whatever, and I never received the thing." But the bank is usually good about giving me the money back. And then, yes, I will never shop from so and so again, ever. I'm not doing that. Chrissy, what up, Chrissy? Mindy says, "I agree, it's none of our business what people do with their money. However, if one gets government assistance, I do feel it becomes our business, especially if you know fraud is taking place." Let me tell you about fraud. As you know, or you may not know, but some of you know, Ash Trevino, Ash the Rash, as I like to call her, or AKA the inmate hopper, he just pled guilty to fraud, Medicaid fraud, because she didn't disclose the money she was making on TikTok and everywhere else. So she really couldn't afford. She really could afford to support herself and her family comfortably, but she lied and she was receiving benefits. This was up to about $30,000. They figured out. Well, she pled guilty. No jail time. And this was the deal that they made. No jail time, but she'll be on probation for 2 years. She's got to pay restitution of about $17,000, right there in that ballpark, and even down to the payment, $700 per month, and that's what happens. So there's somebody down here in South Texas who was arrested a few years ago and they went to trial. We're talking about SNAP, Medicaid, maybe a little bit of TANF. I don't know if you know what TANF is down here in Texas. And that was to the tune of over $73,000. And there in March, there was a plea deal made. But for some reason, that details of that plea deal is not entirely made public like the one for Ash was. And I believe it's because they gave this person down here 6 months from March until coming up. September 14th is the court date, is the hearing date, and that's when restitution is supposed to be paid up. And we just speculate on, well, if she pays it, then it's not on her record, although she did plead guilty, or no contest, which is still guilty. And so that's a whole other discussion, different program. But yes, I absolutely agree. If there's people who can afford it shouldn't be getting public assistance. So Maria, this was a good example, and I mentioned it earlier a bit. For those who receive stuff, good. But for example, it's like 12 people standing in a McDonald's line waiting for your stuff, and you all get your stuff, but 10 people's stuff is either missing or not cooked properly, or it's messed up. Every customer has a right to their experience, good or bad, but to dismiss and try to quiet the bad experiences are wrong. So 20 people, 12 people in line at McDonald's, 10 get their orders correct and 2 don't. Are you gonna call those two people? You guys are haters. Get out of here. You're haters. You're jealous. You're haters. What? 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 Why are they jealous haters if they didn't get their order? Well, the other 10 people did. It's like, yeah, okay. So that makes the two people that didn't. That means that they're irrelevant. No, everybody should get their stuff. Everybody should get their stuff. Everybody should get their stuff. You can try to change my mind on that, but yeah, yeah, you're not going to. Somebody wrote, let's see what it is. I haven't read this one yet. This is a problem that people do not understand about small business owners, specifically with beauty products. And I too have my own business that sets to launch in September with the same no refunds. And I'll explain why. First off, if you open a lipstick, I can't resell it clearly, right? If you, here, let me tell you where I'm at. If you open your package but don't open the lipstick, for example, I have no way of knowing only by your word it's going to cost me or my business for the reshipment of the products back. So how long do you think it will take for my business to go under? Yeah, see, and these are some of the perils of certain kind of business that you get into. I get that. Now, with saying that, do I agree her taking money for pre-orders because she wants to sell a product but can't afford the production? No. So that's the other thing. Pre-orders. Um, pre-orders are okay if you're just doing pre-orders. But if you're doing pre-orders so you can use some of that money to pay for the pre-orders, for the production of it, yeah, that's not the way you're supposed to handle that money. People are without money in the product and no clear estimated time product will be received. So this I do not agree with. If and only if the product is finished production and currently in transit, then sure, do a pre-buy, knowing customers got a week or two max to wait, but keep them updated. On the feed, my face is do not believe she has because I have asked many times with no response. However, I have always received my product from her and I love her products. It's actually not uncommon for safety reasons and obviously hygiene that makeup companies do not do refunds um, once the product is open. I'm assuming that's what that says right there. See, and I get that. And there's a certain peril with certain kind of sales because yes, and if you're talking about a refund for someone who has received their product, I can get it. I see. It makes sense. Well, I can't do a refund. You opened a lipstick. I don't know if you put it on your lips or not. Or you left it open out all night and now it's contaminated with germs from the air, whatever. I get that. I get that 100%. But in this case, we're talking about people who never received their stuff. That's what we're talking about. People who never got their order. Honestly, how comfortable would you feel buying a return lip gloss? Okay, nope. Yeah, but if you own your own business and refund a lip gloss for any reason, yeah. But see, okay, but that's not what we're talking about. This is a different situation. Wow, long post, yeah, long comment, and that's for people talking with the way she dresses. Yeah, that's it. I don't care about that. Um, let's see, bisexual. Yeah, I don't care about that either. Cleavage, don't care about that. Obviously, if a product is damaged, that's a little different. How each business handles it. For myself, my policy is reship and add something with them as a sorry, and that's cool. Um, you know what? With lipstick, if something's wrong with the lipstick, your margins should be enough. Your cost. What is your cost on it? Just send them another one. No problem. I'll send you another one. And that's it. If they don't like that one, well, okay, I'm not going to keep sending you, stuff all the time. Um, let's see, where was it? If a missing product, we can come to a conclusion that indeed it was not shipped, checked off the customer order label, then immediately I would offer a refund. And that's what we're talking about. And that's all we're talking about. We're not talking about, I mean, there are a few that are complaining, oh, this stuff is junk, or I've seen somebody write that it's expired, or whatever. That, different situation. I'm talking about just initially people don't get their stuff. That's when we're talking about people want a refund. Would like a refund if they're not going to get, their product. Let's see. The I saw this little. I think I blocked her a while back. I blocked her. This was when I first got online. This is back in 2020, and I don't. I won't block her. I don't care. Uh, this was in 2020 when I was first getting online, and I was looking. Then I was looking for clout. I was, and I asked her if I could interview her. She was this, big personality, and people directed me towards her. Hey, she's got a lot of followers. Maybe you can pick some up. Interview her. I was like, oh, okay. And initially, she said yes, and then I got ghosted. Never heard from her again until I'm new, right? I'm like, I'm gonna block her. Somebody said, yeah, just block her. I don't block her. I don't care. I don't block her. Not afraid of anything, and she shouldn't be either. Again, my thing is, if people are not getting their items after X number of days or weeks or something, then I think you should give a refund. I don't think that's unreasonable. If they are found out to be scamming the government, the repercussions will be serious. She lies so much she can't even keep up. Yeah, I don't know any of that yet. So that's all people. I've seen it a couple places, but I'll say that's alleged because I don't know. I don't know what that situation is. However, the person down here in South Texas who was found, who made a deal, pled guilty or no contest. That fraud was over $73,000, and it seems like she's just going to get a slap on the wrist after having 6 months to pay restitution, of which we don't know what the amount was. And this has been going on for like 5 years. She's exhausted the court. She's delayed and delayed and delayed. The case was dismissed. Then she had to be re-indicted, and she was going to get away with this. And some people think she did get away with it. And it's funny because she likes to complain about a corrupt legal system down here, but if it is corrupt, I think she benefited from that corruption, or she was a part of it in some way. Yeah, the candy, I have no idea about her candy. Her candy shop, I should say. Hi, Cindy. How do you feel about them asking for a $35 non-refundable before they can actually pick anything out? Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do that. Best Buy doesn't ask you to do that. Target, Walmart, they don't ask you to do that. Amazon doesn't ask you to do that. I'm not doing that. See, all that when I hear that, that's all shady stuff. Something is wrong with that picture. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't know why don't know anything about the product. Don't know if it what they're saying is correct. That it's has anybody received expired products? Makeup doesn't last forever. Cosmetics don't last forever. I know that there's some kind of a shelf life to it. Um, you know, what was the other complaint? There's something about these pallets, and some of them are cracked or broken. Right? By that you mean the the actual cosmetic substance, like the little squares of the pink or blue. Those are cracked or broken, crumbled. Is that what they mean by that? Hi, Julia. Yeah, yeah. Uh,
You can't handle the truth.
and it's not even about um, again. It's not about for me at this point. I'm not trying to get her shut down or any of that stuff. I would just like to hear from some of these people, and there are a few that are going to be going live with me soon that want to tell their story and share their experience. And it's like, I mean, just what the lady said earlier. Since November, it's like, you know what? Give her money back. Make her happy. Give her money back, and she'll buy it from you maybe again. Like it's like, why wouldn't you give her money back? It's November. She doesn't pack them properly. They're packed in envelopes, and then she blames the post office. Oh yeah, yeah. See, then there's. So she packs herself. This is not like a third party, like a drop ship situation. Yeah, and so a lot of that happens because they're trying to. If they're charging you $5 for shipping, that means they're trying to only pay. Typically, when I sold the product I had, if shipping was $10, the shipping was $10. I would not add money to the shipping to make money on shipping. And if ever we could save some money on shipping, well, we would pass that along to the customer. And hey, you know what? Shipping is only going to cost $6 this time, so you're getting a $4 refund. But sometimes they'll say shipping is $6 when shipping is really only $2, and they're really trying to save money and be very skimpy when it comes to packing and packaging of the product. So yeah, if it's something that should be a little more, if it's something that's delicate, little packages, like little light packages, those things are thrown all the time, and yeah, they're gonna get damaged. It's just, yeah. Unfortunately, I've worked at a few different transport companies, and I've seen what happens to products. Also makes shipping labels. Again, I'll just say allegedly makes shipping labels that sit there for days or longer before shipping. It sounds to me like you need to hire people. Like maybe she needs to hire people. And if you don't want to hire people. uh, you know what? There's so I first had a partner. I was brought in as a partner, but like a junior partner. We sold a product. I was online doing all the online marketing. Orders would come in, and my buddy would ship it, package it, ship it. We'd be at work for, I don't know, 4 hours, 5, 6 hours, taking care of whatever happened overnight and through the day. Pack it all up, print the label, print it, package it, gone. But then I started seeing emails that stuff wasn't getting shipped. I didn't get my stuff. I didn't get my stuff. And then I looked, and it wasn't being shipped. It was being shipped 2 weeks later, even though we had the inventory. And then for whatever reason, he started to flake out. And I didn't want to be with a company like that, where we had the product. We were accepting money, but we weren't shipping out the product. So separated. And then months later, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to open up that business myself. And I had a person that was interested and became a partner, and she's the one that really showed me, yeah, we got to buy X amount of product, but we need to have an operating, but pay for electricity, pay for inventory, for boxes, bubble pack, peanut packing things, and if anybody needs, if we got to do a refund or something goes bad, we have to reship. There's got to be a percentage of money that's set aside just for these kind of things. And that's where I learned that. I learned a lot from running a business, from owning a business. Don't get Jerry. Hey Jerry, don't get me started on how much she marketed that poor girl Selma. Oh boy, yeah, I don't know anything about that. Don't know anything about that. Chuck, what up, Chuck? She has people. She has people. She will pack boxes live for people to buy, but won't seal the boxes. Once she didn't know an affiliate was live, and she said, "Don't seal them. I need to reuse the boxes." People started saying that they didn't get what they saw her pack, and oh man, the perils of doing things live. You can either go live and show what you're doing, and that could be a huge benefit, or it could bite you in the ass. You can't. That's terrible. Yeah, I have a lot to say about people who are not handicapped, who park in handicapped spots. And I'll get kicked off the internet if I start getting into that, because that's, yeah, nope. So, okay, so let's go to the next part of this. Yes, ever since I started to, well, since yesterday, I did have, let's see, where do I start this? So I've been reacting to videos and this kind of thing, but certain people in particular. And there's somebody that I followed for many years. Yes, Ramon Valdez. That's the name exactly. And if you look at any of my videos in the past, there's a whole bunch that say the VT Chronicles. And let's see, where was I going with this? Okay, so anytime you put stuff up, especially if you're talking about someone or making people aware of someone, you are going to have people that are going to challenge you. I'll call it challenge you. I don't like to use the word haters, or we can use the word haters if you want, just so we're on the same page, kind of. But people will come at you. Especially the defenders. The defenders will come out and talk all kind of crap, and they'll say a lot of things. They'll make accusations, and they even try to dig into your past and bring stuff up. Had it all done before. Uh, and at first, let me do this. At first, when I was going live doing a reaction, and then I would get people coming attacking me and calling me names and all this stuff, my feelings were hurt because I was new. But real quick, and in fact, when I separated from that other page that I had, and I started my own page, that's the one that I had, was called Manny Behind the Mic. And he got mad and he took it upon himself to try to get me offline, to quit. And they came at me with a lot of different things, man. It was not fun. It was discouraging. In fact, I did almost quit. I was like, I'm not going to go on live. Forget this. But I didn't. And, I had a bunch of supporting people that say, don't listen to that. Or they're saying, and they would tell me they're saying this, they're saying that. And I'm like, I know. But I didn't want to let them win, him in particular. So my feelings were hurt right away, real bad. But then, you know what? The reality is, when you go live every day and you open up your life to the public and you tell people about your life and you talk about private things or intimate things or whatever, you know what? If I'm public, I'm making certain things public. Not everybody's going to like it. People are going to criticize. You can't make everybody happy. And that's going to happen. And, for that part of my, if I see people on the street or we're talking or somebody don't like me, I don't care. I got thick skin. I've always been like that. My feelings cannot be hurt like that. But it's online, I'll call it hate. It was different for me, and I wasn't ready for that, and I didn't expect it. And I had to learn to not care about it. Don't care what people say. Yes, my profile is on Facebook. You want to show pictures? Okay, go ahead. I don't care. And then, somebody that I was speaking to privately, and we had very private, intimate conversations, decided to, after becoming angry with me, put my shit public and shared it with certain people and family, actually. And that shook me up too. And then I was like, you know what? No more am I going to hide any of my stuff. If I made a mistake, I would fess up to it. If I did something wrong, I would fess up to it. And what I'm trying to say is, some of the people that were sending information my way, or saying, hey, this lady got jilted, or this lady is unhappy, it's been 2 years. This lady spent a lot of money over there, but didn't get her stuff, or didn't get all of it, So her people, I call them minions. To anybody, not just for her, but for anybody, I call them, their supporters. I usually call them meathead minions, because they just follow somebody blindly, and in the comments there are name calling and things like that. And I've never been one to block people. I don't like to block. If it's something really, really offensive, crude, I mean, really distasteful, hardcore curse words, I'll delete the comment and I'll block. But, if somebody says you're a wimp or, you're jealous, for me personally, I'm not going to block it. I don't care. You say what you want to say, whatever. I don't care. I'm not going to, you can't go blocking everybody all the time. Um, but that's just me. For the most part, I've had followers that are very supportive. They know where my heart is. I think for the most part, I've been online so much that I think that they realize where my heart is, and they know I'm not a shitty scammer or nothing like that. So a lot of times when somebody will say something, I'll let the comments take care of them. And for you guys who are saying stuff, and you are telling your story and you're sharing your stories and you're getting attacked, I said, don't let that bother you. If they're going to call you names, let them. Don't worry. Just ignore it. Ignore it. What's that old saying? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And again, I know for me it's different because I really don't care. I don't care what they say, how they say it. If they don't like me, whatever. I think it shows more about their character when they're talking like that online and saying things to people and calling them names. I think it says more about them than anything else. So, having said that, I will, and then it sucks you have to say it, but I'll say something in the comments like, hey, try not to be rude. No name calling. We all adults. We're not freaking eighth grade kids. Drama. And try to keep the name calling to a minimum to nothing. I don't think there's a need for that. If somebody can explain the jealous part, though, I don't understand. I don't get that. I really don't. Let's see what else. Any questions from anybody, by the way? Let's see. Her and her boy toy have gone deep in conversation that should never be online. More for. Oh, okay. See, and sometimes I used to get into very spicy content or like a discussion, but I would do that late at night and I would call it pillow talk or Manny after hours or something like that. I haven't done that in a while. A pillow talk. And, that's where whatever language, go ahead. We're talking about, sexual things or whatever. But I think there's a time and place for that. And I'm not going to, tomorrow I'm having an interview. I'm going to interview this gentleman who's Iranian. He's a Christian now. He was Muslim. He converted to Christianity. And he's got a lot to say about the Muslim people, the Muslim faith, Sharia law. So in the middle of that conversation, I'm not going to start talking about, X-rated movies. It's just two things that don't belong together. And I know some people have mentioned that she's got a OnlyFans. Now here you go. We're just getting into this. Do you think it's okay for her stories to include her son? And personally, if somebody's got an OnlyFans where they do adult content, I don't think children should ever be mentioned or mixed into those conversations or ads or promotions. I don't know what's happened. I've heard, but I have not seen it for myself. But I think that's horrible that, those are like, in that case, that she should have three completely different pages. One, her personal life page, whatever that is. Don't know if she has one or not. Two, the business cosmetics page. Again, separate from her personal life. Three, OnlyFans. Okay, but those are three totally separate situations that never should be talked about in the same program. Personal life, only talk about personal, regular stuff. Your business page, only talk about cosmetics or orders or your your dealings with that. OnlyFans, only talk about that. Don't mix it up. Don't do it in the same conversation as you know what's on sale, pre-order this or whatever, and oh yeah, so sign up to my OnlyFans. Like, no, in my opinion, like, don't commingle those things. And if she is making, all it does is it raises flags. People that are not getting their stuff, they won't get refunds, but obviously she's making money. She's making money. Why can't I get my $20 refund? Why can't you grant me a $22 refund for my stuff that I never got since November? All those should be separate. She does it all on one to get people riled so they comment, and she probably that's possible. That's very possible. Or trying to, I mean, I assume, and I know you're not supposed to assume, that most of her followers and viewers are female, right? If she sells cosmetics, generally speaking, you can safely assume that her followers are mainly female. So, why would you promote something mostly targeted at men on your female dominant page? That's just common sense. That's, to me, that's just you know a sincere question, a legit question. Hey, Cheryl. Regina says both her parents are retired police officers. I'm resident. I don't know. I've got my thing about OnlyFans that I wouldn't want my kid to do it. But if they're adult women and they're doing it, I said I'd rather not know about it. I'd rather not know about it. Where we go? Becky. Hey, Becky. Becky Duncan. They were selling adult toys on Facebook as her child was using one as a teasing toy. What? Very bad for the dark web. She has lots of foreign men in her comments, everything. Really? Her child was using one as a teasing toy? I will say allegedly, right? I haven't seen it. But that's horrible. Oh man. Yeah. That's what I call somebody's followers, meathead minions. Some of you are old enough to know where what meathead comes from. At least I think you do. She was selling Adam and Eve, which is okay. But your child should be nowhere near that room when you're doing that. Adult child, well, that's different. But little kid, and why even show your kids on camera? So I'm told that there's somebody who reposts photos, posts that she puts up of her and her kids when they're out, whatever. And some guy from Europe or something is posting stuff. He's reposting those photos, and a lot of them are involve her kids. Anybody know about this? Oh, Chuck Brady. Somebody told me about this. She was live recently, and the guy told her if I was your son and my mom dressed that way, I would pew pew. Basically, he said I would. He said I think he said I would blow my brains out. And I saw that video. I think I have the video clip. She said, "Yeah, man, maybe you should, Chuck. Maybe you should." Or not Chuck, but she told that person who made that comment, who said they would blow their brains out if their mom dressed like that. And she said, "Yeah, maybe you should." And that's another thing that bothers me is when people are having mental issues or have mental issues, and I don't mean they're permanently mentally disabled. I just mean they're having an episode. Like, for example, what happened to Perez Hilton last week. I don't. That's not anything to joke about. If somebody's talking about taking their life, or even a reference to blowing their brains out, for you to say, "Yeah, go ahead and do it." Yeah, I got comments on that too. Yep, yeah, very good. Archie Bunker. Archie Bunker called his son-in-law Mike Meathead. Yeah, I watched it when I was a kid with my father. I was a little kid and I would watch it with my father, and I loved it. Brett, let's see. Oh, making beef fajitas while listening. I think I'm gonna do that tomorrow. That sounds good. What up, Dee Dee? I saw you there before. Her karma did get her a bit. Her horrid BBL experience and result BBL. Oh, she had that? She had it removed? You mean she don't look like Gigi does now? No, I'm sorry. Like JJ? JJ, right? The Adam and Eve and her little boyfriend. Yeah. See, these are all things that just don't even know what. That's disgusting, to be frank. Making inappropriate comments about the boy. But days later, made content about Perez's situation and tried to. Oh yeah, I think I caught part of that. Hang on, let me change this. There you go. I'll leave it here better. I know, like a lot of people were going online trying to capitalize on the Perez Hilton thing. I think if you're talking about it and you're going to have a serious discussion about, mental health, and that's one thing. But just like the person from South Texas that I follow here, that I stream down here on a regular basis for the last 5 years, 6 years actually, she likes to take a situation and then compare herself to that person. And she's done that. She's done that with, she'll talk about Jesus Christ and what he went through. Oh, he was hated. People hated him. And she's like, and just like me, they hate me. And she would make that parallel comparison. And it's disgusting. I think I get rid of this. I think it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Very disgusting. I think when you try to do that, I think that's something's wrong with you. So, you know, I want to say, if you guys are, I don't want to say victims, but if you've had bad experiences and you do share them, and people come at you, it's like, let them come at you. Just ignore it. If you have a very brief response and then that's it, and that's it. Just don't get into it. Just, and this almost becomes like a life coaching event. It's like, who cares what people say about you? Who cares if they don't like you? Why do you care? Don't let it bother you. Don't let it bother you. Who cares? The more attention you pay to it, and the more you react to it, that's when they're going to keep pushing your buttons. So, yeah, don't let that get to you. And if there is, I don't always see all the comments. If there is some kind of real nasty or belligerent or very nasty, crude comment, and if I haven't done anything about it, please bring it to my attention, and I'll look at it, and I will do something or say something. Absolutely will. But I don't always see them. Sometimes some of these posts get so many comments, 3 or 4 or 5, 600, 1,000 comments when I go live, that I don't catch everything. A lot of times I don't know, because the mods I have are really good at taking stuff out that I just never saw it. What? Allegedly, remember, I gotta say that. Not to mention a video with her boyfriend pleasuring himself. It was caught in the reflection of the microwave, and you can see the kid passing by the door. Then recently in the live, the boy mimicked the same thing. She went live after that and said, "It just shows my man loved me and we have a healthy." Oh my God. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. See, and that tells me a lot, just right there, just from that. That alone says a lot. And it probably explains a lot, to be honest with you. Oh man, for real? Hey Jesse. Are you serious, Chuck? It was the boyfriend, that dude, what's his name? It's facts. Oh my goodness. Dee Dee, you saw it too? Dee Dee said, I remember that you could see it on the glass of my. Oh man. Yes, thank you, Salinas Gomez. Wow, I can't believe that's. Oh man, did and that is that video still up? Did anybody report it? Did it get taken down? I'm also not one to report. I'm not a cop caller. I don't like to report videos unless it's somebody threatens my life, which someone did. Then I'll report. Or if it's something really crude sexual like that, I would have reported for sure. Oh, okay, okay. Hang on, hang on. Can you see the comments? Let's see of that program. Okay, I don't know. Yes, it's facts. The video is proof. Yet she calls people haters and jealous. He was not pleasuring himself. He was naked and walked by, and we saw him in the microwave. Well, that's a big difference. I mean, still naked. If you got to be careful with reflections and mirrors and stuff. But there's a big difference between he was pleasuring himself and he was just walking by naked. There were tongs, and that little boy was imitating a behavior. Obviously, learned. Yeah, that is not cool at all. Maybe it's on YouTube. That happened a long time ago. How did you get involved with Jessica? She's very knowledgeable. I'm not involved with Jessica. It's just observations I've made. Um, I knew of her when I first started. I said this earlier in the program. You do a replay, but I'm just trying to get some answers for people. If people know she's got a no refund policy and they order anyway, I mean, now that as long as everybody knows it, I did talk to someone today, and she said I ordered, I never got my stuff, and she goes, I didn't know she had a no refund policy. And I guess a lot of people don't know this because it's not necessarily broadcast. But now, knowing what you know, if you know she's got a no refund policy, you're playing Russian roulette. Order at your own risk. So I don't see why anybody would continue to order. Yeah, see, so already there's different accounts as to what happened with this naked person. That's why you got to be careful what you say, what I say, mainly, because she can take this information and call it slander or whatever. Was his hand on his privates when he was walking by, like to cover himself? Oh no, then Didi's saying no, man. He was playing with himself. That happened a long time ago. Hang on a second. I'll look at that a little bit later. Okay, so he was pleasuring himself. The video's still floating around. And then she grabbed tongs and continued cooking. And I said, "Oh, no, you was not doing that. He was holding his private part." Hi, Anna. Thanks for being here. No, it's okay. I'm very new to a lot of this too. Hey, Tammy. Haters and jealous is one thing, but to call people old F's and vile things is not should not be allowed, and we are the ones called haters. And that's what I mean. When they call you those things and they say those things, it says more about them than it does about anything else, right? But yes, I don't want that kind of stuff on there, and I will try to get rid of that whenever possible. And I don't believe so. You could clearly see what was happening in his moans of pleasure. All right. Now, see, for research purposes, now I want to see that video. Okay. Somebody just sent a video clip of the box swapping situation, recycling boxes and stuff. So I'll check that out. Why does that person look familiar? There's a person with red hair looks familiar. There are so many pages. What happened to all of them? She left it off, said something about the boys being boys like it's normal. It's normal to be whacking yourself off in front of your spouse while you're on a live program. That's normal? Really? Um, um, no, okay, different one. There's somebody with red hair that looks familiar, and I don't know who they are. The boy was about 3 or 4, and they were making a cake alive, and she was rolling font. And he said, "It's a." That boy has eaten too much. No, oh boy, yeah, it's not cool. Regardless, you're right. He should not have been in the nude, whatever he was doing. Hey, if somebody can find that clip, I'd like to see it from my own to see what I make out of it. You know what I mean? Yep, Jerry, thank you for that. I'm going to watch that in just a little bit here, as soon as we're off the air. Who is that person in the red hair? With the not in the red hair, with the red hair. Becky says no, he didn't know his reflection was being caught. But then Mindy's right. Why would she say they have a healthy sex life then? Good point. Regina, yes, he was jerking it in front of her. Yeah, well, that's why I'd like to see. I'd like to see it. Now, I'm not saying I don't believe any of you people. A lot of you are saying the same thing. Um, but, 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 there shouldn't have been any nakedness, and definitely there should not have been any kind of penisary contact of any kind at all visible to the camera. No refund policy doesn't mean they cannot send the product. It doesn't work like that. Yeah, that's why I would like to get the details of that um, no refund policy. Yeah, I know. That's why sometimes you gotta. And if it even if it happened, if you show it to 50 different people, it's possible to get 50 different accounts of what happened, right? Well, she reports. She reports. I'll defend myself and fight it. I'm not saying anything wrong or inappropriate. Clearly, not showing her videos or her lives. Yeah, Becky, that's definitely that's what I mean by that. There's more people saying that than not. Hey, Cat, even Cat. Yes, he was doing it. You can see it and hear it. It was gross. Um, no, I have not. Have you seen the video of her boyfriend telling off her viewers using the C word? No. See, and then why would you have someone like that be involved in your business with your customers? I mean, even to have that remote possibility that something like that could happen, it's like, you know what? Leave me alone. Stay away. I'm busy. Don't come into the room. I'm busy. Stay away. Why is this still? I don't know. It's Let's see. Oh, there's a bunch of Terras. So yeah, I guess I can't get to it. Didi said, I don't think they realize it, but all fans are really gonna go look. Takes one person to realize it and plays the video over and over and over again. Well, I wouldn't mind seeing it for myself. However, I'm not gonna post it. I'm definitely not gonna do that. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out, Anna. Thank you. So a lot of you are new to my page, to me. Um, Someone just sent me a message, and I'm going to address this part just so you know. Over the years, I've had a lot of people send me things, information, whether it's video, photos, or just information, and everyone wants to be kept anonymous. Don't say it was me. Don't say it was me. This is me, my real name, but this is my profile. And I have never, ever, ever compromised it. I would never expose anybody who doesn't want to be into their name or whatever. Uh, Anytime you guys send me something and say, please keep me anonymous, or don't say my name, I will never say your name, even if we talk in person. Even if 6 months from now you get pissed off at me for something, and it gets ugly or whatever, I still won't. I just don't do that. I never have. I keep private information private. It's privileged. Any a lot of information that I get, where it comes from, I'm not going to say, but I will never, ever, ever compromise someone's privacy. Real name. Never dox anybody. I don't do any of that stupid crap. I'm just, I don't do that. Oh, hang on, my cat wants to come in the room for a second. Hang on. All right. I don't know. She's probably going to eat and then she's going to leave. All right. Yes, my little cat. She wants to be in here when she just comes in and out. She got her litter box and her food here in my office because I'm dog sitting a couple of Frenchies, my kids' Frenchies. So sometimes she's on lockdown and she's got her. We got to put her cat stuff in my office for a few days. I've been doing this since November of 2020. It was right before Thanksgiving of 2020. And before that, I was with another page called Rio Politics, RIO Politics. Some of that stuff is still out there. And not ready yet. I got to close that door. It started off as a politics page, and I was just the producer, control the comments and put the videos up or stuff like that. But I would be on camera instead of being off camera. I would be on camera, and somebody said, "How come you never say anything? You're just there." I'm like, "Well, I'm doing stuff," and then I was asked to say something. So I started talking, and then, man, you couldn't shut me up. I think the first thing we did was the first broadcast we ever did. I think it was the Republican convention or something like that. Anyway, once I started talking, I couldn't shut up, and I started to become more and more participating in the conversation. And then, and then I started my own thing that November. Thank you, Anna. I really do try to be, what's fair is fair. I don't like people getting stabbed in the back. I don't like people getting taken advantage of. And, I've shed. I had one of my co-hosts of mine. This was December, right after I started my page. He had a heart attack and passed away. And his wife called me. It was like 5 in the morning one day, and she's crying, and she's like, "I'm at the hospital. He died. He had a heart attack." That was Josh, and he was the sweetest, nicest guy. And I cried on. I was telling my people, and I was crying, and then I went to another local guy who was online then at the time, who had a popular page, and we were talking about it, and I broke down because everybody knew him, and it was sad. It was real sad. So I don't mind. Sometimes my emotions just come out, and I don't know. It's just what? It's real life, right? It's real life. Okay. Oh man. Okay, I'm getting a lot of stuff here, so it'll take me a little bit. Nope, I'm not saying names at all. Thank you. I appreciate. I'll look at that stuff in a minute. Yeah, I would. Somebody asked me once because I started to cover Janelle what was her page called? It was called God, I forgot. I had the the subtitle for my program whenever I covered her was what was her page called? Somebody knows what was her page called? She's the one who faked cancer. She said her car rolled over 20 times. Um, she has a daughter with all the tattoos. Um, Kentucky, I think. Tennessee or Kentucky. That's it. Thank you. Confidence is beautiful. And I called that segment Confidence something. So I started doing that. She was really boring to listen to. If there were other things going on, made it easier. But if it was just her talking, it was really boring. Really boring. And then the one I enjoyed was Letitia Collins. Remember her? It was, I think her page on YouTube was Love Notes for TLC. And TLC was the initials of her daughter. And that's what TLC meant in that case. Anyway, talk about that chick, Leticia was way out there, but it was fascinating. And I would always say, sometimes you stream somebody and you goof on them, right? But I would say, I'm not doing this to goof on her. This is truly a study in like mental illness. I mean, she thinks that the CIA is in her house recording her and filming her, and she's paranoid. And she would just crack me up. And she's gonna be gone for a while now. She got sent to the loony bin, and then now to prison. Certifiable. Hey Dana, certifiable, 100% for sure. And I think they said because she wasn't on her meds. Even she admitted when she's not on her meds, she gets crazy. And she started getting physical with the police officers, and yeah, that was not gonna end well. And I wanted to cover this other person. I won't say cover, but because a lot of her program was the same. Somebody mentioned her name the other day, and I already forgot. Is it Lisa? She was like a crackhead, like missing teeth. She was always asking for money for cigarettes and food. What was her name? I think it was Lisa. I can't remember. But she was always out on the street. She sometimes didn't have a place to sleep. But I just remember she was always asking for money for cigarettes. I need money for cigarettes. Um, I can't remember. I think it was Lisa. So one of you guys might remember. And then one time someone asked me, "How come you don't cover dudes? How come you don't cover guys?" So I looked, but I couldn't find it. There you go. Thank you, Lisa. By the way, thanks, Lisa. Lisa Richards. She's the one. I haven't looked if she's still out there or not. Um, I don't know. I mean, it's fun reacting to videos and some of the things that people do. Until you got to be careful. I was on one of those pages, like death and the morgue and morgue morticia. Anybody belong to that stuff? Yeah, Lisa Richards. That was her. That was her. And it's like I felt bad for her, but at the same time, it's like I don't know. It was she looked legit like she needed to eat. and smoke. I wouldn't send money for cigarettes, never, to anybody. Um, but yeah, if I could find a male that was interesting, yeah, I would absolutely cover and do some of that. Crystal Collins, is that a different one? Or are you talking about Crystal Collins? Why does that sound familiar? Yeah, Lisa was I think she lost her teeth because she was a drug addict. Whether she was before that, or I think she was still a drug addict, but she was always her Cash App all the time. It's like nonstop. It's like that's the only time she went live is when she needed money. I remember that part. Judy said, "Yeah, there's plenty of nutcases to cover." Yeah, and if you ever have a suggestion, feel free to send me a messenger message through the Manny's Hard Truth. You can email me. My email address is on my page on Facebook, Manny at Manny's Hard Truth, and I will gladly take a look at interesting people and situations. Does Steve still have a page on Jessica? Which one is Steve? I think she left TikTok. Yeah, somebody else is asking who's Steve. And the other thing, since we got a lot of new people here, I try to get to all the comments. Sometimes so many comments go by, and I get so far behind that if I did every single comment, we'd be here for 6 hours. So if I skip some, it's not I'm not being mean or anything. I'm just trying to pick randomly here and there. Seems like the majority of madness comes from females, Denise. She said it, not me. She said it, not me. But there is more data, more information that I do need to get from about the spoiled situation. Um, and it's going to be, well, you see how it's going to be. Um, what I'm not going to do is stream live videos and do that kind of thing. And I think we know why. You all know why. Oh, is that another one? A hillbilly from Kentucky used to beg all the time. Apparently, there's a lot of them like that. There's a lot of people like that. Oh, she always. I remember that. I remember somebody was that her? She did. She would always say cigarettes, and she wanted to buy a hoagie. Hi, Debbie. How are you? Welcome. Anyway, oh, Diana Ricky. That's the. I remember that name too. Wasn't she the one that Diana Ricky? Didn't she live in a motel and she was always looking for money to keep staying in the motel, and she was looking always. Oh, she was always looking for almost on a daily basis. Was she going to have enough for another stay, or were they going to kick her out? Is that who that was? Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, she said it. She said it, not me. See, that's the other one. I know. Somebody sent me Reverend Shanny, and I'm trying to get into that. Trying to get into that. I don't know. I heard that that's pretty crazy over there. Oh yeah, JJ with the BBL and the what does she got? 8 kids now, right? She just had a baby. Is that's the JJ you're talking about, right? Ah, there's KK. I knew you would. KK sent me some stuff on them, and I'm gonna see if I can get into that because I hear from her, I hear it from KK that Rev and Shani are pretty interesting, to say the least. So, um, don't forget, if you would, um, follow me on Manny's Hard Truth. Just hit the follow button. I keep saying this. At some point, I'm going to switch just to YouTube. So I always broadcast on both at the same time. So my channel on YouTube is at Manny's Hard Truth. Exactly the same. The way you see it here, it's Manny's Hard Truth, but without the apostrophe. It's just at Manny's Hard Truth. And subscribe there. That'd be great at some point. I've been saying this for years because Facebook was getting a little restrictive, trigger happy with certain things, and it would restrict a lot, and it's really annoying. But anyway, for now, it'll be both. I'll be on both. Every once in a while, I'll do YouTube only. Sometimes Facebook has got an outage or issues, so I'll just do YouTube only. And I do another one of these tomorrow. I got another post going up, and again, it's for discussion, and then we'll discuss. Usually, I wanted to have this video last night. I posted what I posted about JIS at about 1:30, and I wanted to do it last night, but I just couldn't make it. That's why I'm doing it now. So the way it's going to work is I'll post something, and then we can discuss it that same day. That way it's fresh. And I think that's where I think that's all I got for right now. Let's see. Let's see. Somebody said Rev and Shani are so gross and demented, I had to stop watching. I know, right? 4 baby daddies to 7 or 8 kids. Was it 7 or 8? Sorry, I don't know if you put it up there or not. I thought it was she just had her 8th one, I think, right? Yep. And I will say this again. Keep the comments and your conversations courteous. Don't get to a point where you got to get nasty with people. If you disagree, just agree to disagree. And if you're going to say things about each other, just try not to obviously come out and say nasty stuff. You can show your displeasure in other ways without calling people names and stuff like that. Because for as much as I don't like to block people, if I have to, I have to. But I usually don't. Same thing. A lot of you, when it comes, don't know about my political stance. Whatever your political stance is, I think mine is pretty known. But whatever yours is, it's okay. You can have your opinion. You can say what you want. I'm not going to block you just because you're on the other side or you like so-and-so or whatever. You know what? We're all entitled to our own likes and dislikes and preferences, either politically or whatever. And I don't block people for that kind of stuff. Again, unless you get extremely rude, belligerent, stupid, over the top, then I will cut it and then I'll block. Oh, wait till you see about this blocked merchandise I have. I'll show that to you guys. I'll show that to you tomorrow. Oh, I know, KK, you like to call people twat waffles. Poop buckets. No, I had enough poop buckets with Vanessa would lock her kids up in a closet. She would lock them in there with a poop bucket while her and her boyfriend went out to do whatever they were doing, so that the girls wouldn't leave the house. She would literally lock the closet door with her. And sometimes they had no running water or no working toilet, and they had to poop in buckets. True story. I'm not making it up. I don't make up stories. Honestly, I really don't. So, all right, everyone. Thank you for being here so much. Tomorrow is a great program. Um, 7 p.m. If it's a serious discussion, but I think it's really interesting. There are a lot of people that don't know a lot about Islam, Sharia law. You know what's coming to this country, what can happen to us, what can happen, what they believe. A lot of information. We have a his name on Facebook is the Edgy Truther, and he is Iranian. He's from Iran, but he's Christian, and he does not like what he says what Islam has become right now and what they're trying to do here. So 7 p.m. tomorrow. That's going to be a really Central Time. That's going to be a really good one. Really good one. So, but I'll be on earlier before that separately with more of this stuff. All right. I know my chair keeps dropping. I need a new chair. It keeps every so often they'll just go, and you'll see me go. It's funny. Sometimes they'll just go, one swoop. Um. Anyway, be good to each other. Thank you. Be polite in the comments. You can disagree. Do it respectfully. I appreciate you all being here. There's a lot more to come. Stay tuned, and we will catch you tomorrow. Have a good night, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments, and I do respond to comments. I try to get to them real quickly too. All right. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you again.